Protactile Language Interpreting National Education Program presents Size and Shape Specifiers. So far, we have discussed Principle 1, Contact Space, Principle 2, Reciprocity, and Principle 3, Protactile Perspectives. Now we will move on to the fourth principle, called SASS. This stands for Size and Shape Specifiers. This is how we talk about the measurements of something or its defined shape. We establish the size of an object in relation to the size of the human body. This is a familiar comparative reference point all of us have experienced throughout our entire life. If I attempt the TASL sign for large or tall, drawing our two hands apart with airspace in between, the size is lost because there's no point of reference without continuity of touch. Using airspace requires a visual reference as to the distance between the two hands. This violates the principles of protactile. The concept has to be translated to something that can be felt. Let's examine how this can be done. Through touch in contact space, the listener gets accurate measurements. Using shape descriptors on the arm and hand enables the receiver to grasp a shape as opposed to drawing such shapes in the air, which again require visual access. By using your communication partner's hand and arm and creating the shape of the vase, this is more accessible, whereas formulating the shape with your hands in the air loses any point of reference. This holds true for any other shape, such as a long, thin object, or pattern such as a woven or plaid print. All shapes and sizes must be translated into contact space so that the receiver can understand what is being said. Now let's practice with some examples. Example 1. SASS, describing a scarf. Slow motion replay. I'd like to show you my scarf. This scarf is rather long. The end has a generous-sized fringe consisting of multiple twisted strands with knots on the end. Example 2. SASS, describing a doll's clothes. Slow motion replay. I'd like to show you this doll. The doll is dressed in a coat that extends below her waist. She is also wearing a pair of shorts, and high-heeled boots. Example 3. SASS, describing refreshable braille display devices. Slow motion replay. There is a continuum of experience among deafblind people. Each individual might have a varied experience based on their preference. For example, there are different configurations of refreshable braille display devices. A person might choose to use one or the other for their own reasons. Each device varies in size. The small device consists of 14 cells. Some people have the intermediate size device that consists of 32 cells. And finally, some have a larger device that consists of 40 cells. All three size devices have the same functionality and buttons. I like the longest braille display device the best. With the smaller units, the user has to pan to complete a whole line of text. This makes for a disjointed reading experience. With the larger device, I can read an entire line before hitting return to refresh the cells and read the next line. Disclaimer: this video was developed by Protactile Language Interpreting National Education Program, PLI, funded by a grant from the Rehabilitation Services Administration, RSA, grant number H160D21002. The contents of this artifact were developed under a grant from the Department of Education. However, these contents do not necessarily represent the policy of the Department of Education, and you should not assume endorsement by the federal government.